Good morning and hi there. Thanks so much for checking in with us. It is Sunday and you are watching Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Megan Packer here to get you caught up on what's making news on your Sunday. Second half of the weekend is here. It's obviously been a really busy weekend in Metro Atlanta. Lots of big stories that we continue to stay on top of for you. So the very latest, as you might imagine, as we continue to remember the fallen DeKalb County officer David Rose, who paid the ultimate sacrifice on Friday protecting his community. Officer Rose was with the DeKalb County Police Department for less than a year before he died Friday when he responded to a call of an active shooter at the CDC building in DeKalb. He graduated from the academy as a leader in his class. This is some video of when he spoke, when he was part of his graduating class. And, in his own words, we've been able to hear a little bit from him and just hearing from others that knew him and even those who didn't know him, just paying their respects and remembering this young officer, this young father, 33 years old, leaves behind a wife and two children with a third child on the way. And he was shot and killed on Friday while responding to an active shooter call at the CDC in DeKalb County on Clifton Road. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation says 30-year-old Patrick White of Kennesaw was the shooter in this case. The GBI says that he drove to the CVS across the street from the CDC, had several guns with him, and opened fire on the CDC building. There are several bullet holes, that's shattered windows. You can see here in the CDC building on Clifton Road. And we are hearing from CDC workers who are obviously terrified by the violence. They say they are just scientists trying to do their job and trying to keep the people of this country safe. And this really has people on edge. So they've been coming out this weekend, leaving flowers at the scene of this shooting, paying their respects. And, I'm sure a lot of people waiting to figure out what they're going to do for the work week, if they go back to work tomorrow, if they wait a few days. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation is the lead agency on this case, so we will stay in touch with them and be sure to pass along any updates about the investigation as we learn more. We are learning more this morning about the plane crash in DeKalb County that we talked a lot about yesterday. Learning a little bit more about the conditions of the three people on board that plane. County officials now say two of the three passengers were in serious condition with internal injuries at last check. A third person broke their ankle. We told you this plane came down just after midnight yesterday, right across the street from PDK Airport. The plane belongs to a flight school, and it crashed in a home's front yard. And the three people did survive, but again, now learning that they have some internal injuries, and at least two of them were in serious condition. That also knocked out power for a while in that neighborhood yesterday. Crews were on the scene much of the day. If you drive this very busy stretch of Cascade Road in southwest Atlanta, there is some light at the end of the tunnel. There's a big road project that's been going on, and crews hope to have it fully reopened by the end of this month, at least for this road resurfacing part that they are working on. In the meantime, round-the-clock work does start up tomorrow. Crews are resurfacing the stretch of Cascade between Willis Mill Road and Kingsdale Drive. GDOT says the goal here is to keep drivers and people walking nearby safe. They say this project was designed to slow down traffic and make the corridor safer. So everything from trails to sidewalks, like bike and pedestrian areas are out there. Just so many improvements. This has been going on since November of 2021 is really when the project started up. And this month marks the end of phase 1 with more to come. Brookhaven's new city center is now officially open. Have you seen this yet? The city just held a celebration yesterday to unveil the large new building on Peachtree and North Druid Hills roads, right there at the Brookhaven MARTA station. It's got a lot of people that have been coming out to check it out. 60% of the building is for public use and will have a multi-purpose event hall, coffee shop, and meeting rooms that you can rent out. The more than 58,000 square foot building is the first municipal building in the state of Georgia to use mass timber, which is considered more sustainable. Time to get a check of our forecast now with First Alert meteorologist Isaac Williams, who has been tracking just a really dreary day so far, Isaac, and it's just been below average temperatures that we've been talking about. It's been such a nice treat for August, and we know that we have to talk about the return of the rain.
That's right, Megan. Rain could be a little bit dicey today in terms of some light showers, but tomorrow and The rest of the week, we'll have some heavier rain activity at times. And tomorrow's first alert weather day is really for that return of the wetter pattern that we are dealing with out there. We are going to see, again, some occasional showers today, but some heavier rain out there tomorrow. Let's get you over to First Alert Radar this morning. We have seen some very light showers. What we're seeing, though, is that a lot of the clouds are very low to the ground, obviously, in the radar beam as the Earth curves underneath it. The radar beam actually misses some of that moisture that's very close to the ground. And so while it may not be showing up as green on the radar, it might be misting or drizzling where you are this morning in North Georgia. So keep that in mind. And keep that in mind through the day today. We're going to have lots of cloud cover, limited sun. I don't think it'll be maybe fully overcast, but I don't think we're going to see even as much sun as we saw yesterday. This widespread cloud pattern will continue today with some on and off lighter type showers expected throughout the course of the day. A bigger picture on the radar, we've got widespread rain and heavier rain, in fact, up and down the Carolina coastline up towards Savannah. It's been raining there much of the night into this morning. And that's where the bulk of the rain is going to be, at least for the day today. As we kind of take a broader view, you can see a few embedded lightning strikes out in the western Atlantic. And what we're seeing is, again, the chance of most widespread rain activity is going to be closer to the coast. Back to the west, some flooding continues in Wisconsin this morning. We've had as much as 10 inches of rain in Milwaukee, down through portions of Kansas City and Kansas and Oklahoma. That's where the most action will be over the next few days. In terms of rain amounts and looking ahead to the next 5 days for the southeast, we've got 1 to 2 inches of rain possible across the entire state of Georgia. Now, hopefully, of course, that comes in small increments through the next few days, but over the next 5 days, we have the potential to see 1 to 2 inches of rain. 2 to 4 plus inches of rain closer to the Carolina coastline in those redder colors. That's where some of the heavier rains may set up over the next 5 days, but you can kind of see a generally unsettled pattern across the southeast, and that does include metro Atlanta and most of north and central Georgia. And with that also in mind comes the below average temperatures. The hottest day we saw of the month was the first day of the month last Friday, so 2 Fridays ago, August the 1st, we got to 94. The coolest we've seen was that following Monday at 69 degrees, which means we're still averaging about 81 or so degrees each day's high temperature, which is well below average for this time of the month and this time of the year. Obviously, we are going to see the return of some hotter air, but looking forward, we're not going to see it today. We're going to see, again, limited sun with occasional showers, temperatures slowly climbing into the middle and upper 70s at the lunch hour, and then reaching the 80s later this afternoon. Most of the rain should diminish after 9 o'clock, but we're not really looking at huge rain potential today. Tomorrow, here's the latest futurecast. You can see scattered downpours. You can see the red showing up there. So we are looking at some heavier rain potential that can impact your plans tomorrow in spots. We could have a few storms in the mix there. Check out 9 p.m. The latest model brings in a really big rain surge into Atlanta right after sunset. So this is going to be kind of starting and stopping through the day tomorrow. So keep that in mind. And this could continue into Tuesday. We may need to add a first alert weather day for Tuesday, but we're still seeing quite a bit of model inconsistency even as we draw a little bit closer. Wave of low pressure in the Atlantic actually did flare up a few storms in the central Atlantic, but Hurricane Center continues to have only a 20% chance of development on that lead wave. The stronger one rolling off the coast of Africa, you can already kind of see it has a nice swirl, some loose development here in the next day or so, but in the next week, we're looking at an 80% chance of development. So that's going to be something to kind of watch. Of course, this is going to be one of the longer tracking systems most likely. And again, we'll probably have a tropical depression out of this Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, somewhere in there. And then strengthening is expected from there. The latest computer models, so these are all the hurricane models moving this west and northwest. Now, where it goes from here, I intentionally stopped this on day 5. So after day 5, our forecast, of course, starts to lose some accuracy. And so where it goes from here will be highly dependent. And so we'll just have to keep watch and see. Does it recurve to sea? Does it keep going west? We'll just wait and see. It doesn't even have a name yet. But if it does get a name, it will be Aaron. We have had 4 named storms so far, and we are looking at the next named storm on the list, the Ewan, to be Aaron. Here's your Super 7-day forecast. We have a 60% chance of rain and storms tomorrow. And then looking ahead to the rest of the week, I think there's going to be some rain or storms around every single day. very scattered in nature, but it's going to really limit the temperatures from just shooting way up. We're going to be in the 80s through at least probably Thursday, and then maybe pushing toward 90 by next Friday and Saturday. But right now, the only first alert weather day we have is tomorrow. That's the highest rain coverage expected, with those periods of rain and storms starting and stopping. Again, keep watch through the rest of the week. We may need to add some more throughout the week once confidence continues to slowly increase on which days might be most impactful. We'll also keep you posted on the tropics as well over the course of the week. We'll be watching that with great interest, of course, as we get closer and closer to the peak of hurricane season, which is a month away today, from today, September 10th and 11th, typically and traditionally referred to as the peak of hurricane season. But here is the latest forecast here. Temperatures will stay in the 80s through the middle of next week, finally warming up toward 90 next Friday.
Stay up to date on your latest weather from the largest team of meteorologists in the Southeast. Download the First Alert Weather app for hour-by-hour forecasts and join us every weekday at 11:30 a.m. on ANF+. You can also text weather to the number on your screen, and we'll send a link directly to your cell phone.